Hola, hola, my name is Ramon, cosmetic formulator and sunscreen fanatic, and today we're talking about my favorite heavy-duty, high SPF, water-resistant sunscreens. I get asked all the time what my favorite sunscreen recommendations are for specific skin types or concerns, and so for the next couple weeks, I will be doing dedicated uploads on my favorite sunscreen recommendations, so make sure you subscribe to see all those when they go live. But today, these are the sunscreens I like to use when I want more heavy-duty, high SPF value, or I'm working out and sweating, and I need water-resistant sunscreens. I have this divided into two different options, first being a lot more of a radiant, heavy-duty, moisturizing sunscreen, as well as more oily skin-friendly, lightweight, natural finish sunscreens as well, just because you have a wide variety in front of me and I want to give you guys options. And then it's also worth noting the first several of these I will talk about are alcohol-free, so if you have more sensitive skin types, it's definitely worth considering these as well. But to kick off the list, I'm going to be starting off with the Aven Intense Protect SPF 50+. The big thing with this was that it was a new launch of a new UV filter, Triasorb, which talked about having very wide, broad spectrum protection, very high value as well, even up into visible light. The thing with this is very moisturizing sunscreen. This just was too heavy for my oily skin, but that being said, it has great photoprotective value, really great UV filters in this, so this is something I would definitely reach for if I'm going out to the beach, working out outside. It's a high UV index day. This is also a great option if you have very dry skin as well. This, as of right now that I'm aware of, is only EU, UK, but if I do find links for US shipping as well, I will have those in the description box, but this is a great option if you don't mind a radiant finish. Next product on the list is the P20 Kids SPF 50+ sunscreen. This one has ultra high photoprotective values. The thing with this is that based on the Bootstar system, first of all, it does tell you that this has a UVA-PF above 50. Considering the ratio involved for getting a 4-star superior Bootstar rating, this technically has to be at least around an SPF 100. A few of us are talking in the comments. So this is high SPF. This is also really water resistant. Arguably though, this is not a very radiant, emollient, greasy sunscreen. On my oily skin on the face, I actually didn't hate this. I didn't mind this. This is definitely more of a winter sunscreen. But this isn't as greasy as the Aven one is, so that's worth noting. This is really affordable here in the UK. This is 100 ml, and I believe I paid $15 for this. You can get 200 ml for about 20 to 25 pound as well. So definitely a really great option. Also, it's meant for kids, so it's technically a little bit more sensitive skin friendly, although it is a chemical sunscreen. This does also have some hybrid filters like Tinasorb M and I believe Tinasorb A2B. So you're really good in the filter department, really good in the SPF department, and it's a really good water resistant option as well. Next is a series of sunscreens that I do not have on me. I have gotten a lot of requests for them and I actually have reviewed these on the low, but those are the Altruist Sunscreens. Those are arguably really cult favorite sunscreens formulated by dermatologists. They have a really interesting combination of filters and other ingredients in them that give them supremely high photoprotective value. I'm talking SPF 30, SPF 50, and I believe the fluid is SPF 50 as well, all with 5-star UVA ratings for each of them. They are also really affordable. They are really nice, elegant textures for the most part. Reviews coming up soon, so stay tuned for that. But these are really great options, especially if you're balling on a budget and you want really great photoprotective value as well as really good water resistance as well. I have reviewed them. I generally do like them, so I do recommend them, and they fit this criteria very well. And next, I have all of the Black Girl sunscreens. These are really interesting because you get a wide array of textures and feel and finishes across all three of them. All of them are also water resistant though, so they fit this criteria well, and it's nice that you get some options depending on what you're doing throughout the day, what your needs are, or what is the situation that you're wearing them in. You make it matte, specifically is for the face. It gives you a nice matte finish, and as an oily skin individual, I was waiting for them to drop this. Really nice primer finish, sits beautifully underneath makeup, but also looks beautiful on bare skin as well, so definitely a good option for oily skin types. Their kids option, compared to the regular option, has a higher SPF value. It's missing the octocrylene that the regular version has, which I would like to see, but I don't mind that. But really the big difference for these is that this gives you a little bit more of a natural finish. It's not as emollient as the original SPF 30 is. And as a result of that, I think it's more applicable to all skin types. The original is just a little bit too emollient for me, too radiant, more dry skin friendly in my opinion. But again, they're different applications. All of them are water resistant. So depending on what you need, you have a couple options to choose from. Next is one I consider to be the more affordable version of the original Black Girl sunscreen. This is from Bondi Sands. It's their Face SPF Plus, fragrance free, and pretty much like the original Black Girl sunscreen. This is a really nice, radiant, emollient sunscreen, so great for dry skin types, and it's just a little bit more affordable. It has a lot of the same qualities. It's really moisturizing, very water resistant. Specifically, again, I come from the US, we have different like qualifications for water resistant. This one they claim is water resistant for up to 4 hours, I believe, which is a long time. I would not necessarily necessarily neglect to reapply in those 4 hours, but it's definitely worth considering that this is heavy duty long wear as well. And next, deviating from some of those really radiant, really emollient, really moisturizing sunscreen options, the first one I have is from Jack Black. It's their oil-free Sun Guard SPF 45+. This to me just gives very natural finish on the skin, low-key oil controlling, kind of mattifying, but not to an extreme. It is still a really nicely moisturizing texture to it. This one you get a lot of bang for your buck. This one's available arguably very internationally, so fairly accessible for the most part. And this one is just to me a very simple, straight to the point sunscreen. It's a combination sunscreen, so you're getting some chemical and mineral filters in this. And this to me is just a really good water resistant generic sunscreen option. It doesn't do the most, it does what it needs to, and it does it well. Kicking it to some Japanese options, this one's from Skin Aqua. This is the UV Super Moisture Gel. This is actually the sunscreen I am wearing today. I worked out in this before putting on makeup and worked beautifully, so just note that. This is one that I didn't actually realize it was water resistant. This is just a really good moisturizing option for oily skin types, all skin types really, but if you have oily skin, it's a really good option that's gonna leave you a little bit more radiant without being greasy on the skin. I just really like Japanese sunscreens and the elegance that they offer, and knowing that this is water resistant was just another plus. This sits nice on the skin, super lightweight, preps beautifully for makeup, no complaints. And plus you get a good amount of this. This is 140 grams and I paid like $10 or $12 for this. So sticking with the theme of Japanese sunscreens, the next two I have are from Biore. First and foremost, I have the Biore UV Athlizm Skin Protect Essence. This is the one I'm most excited to use for this summer. As an oily skin individual, this is right up my alley. Compared to pretty much all the other options in front of me, this one has alcohol in it, but that's what I enjoy about it. This is a super lightweight, quick absorbing gel texture. You apply this on the skin, massage it, it's gone. You can barely tell it's there, but it's just such a good sunscreen texture. This preps the skin beautifully for makeup, reapplies nicely on top of it. But more so what I enjoy about this is that this is a really good sunscreen specifically for reapplication if you have oily skin. This doesn't make you greasy. This doesn't sit heavy on the skin. So if you're oily skin and you reapply this throughout the entire day, you're not gonna stay greasy and it's not gonna be a really heavy texture on the skin. So I'm really excited to use this for the summer here in London. Within its more hydrating, radiant sister, I have the Biore Aqua Rich Watery Essence. This similar texture is a super lightweight gel, but has a few more humectants involved in the formulation of it. So it sits a little bit more radiantly on the skin. It's a nice moisturizing option. So arguably this could be my first layer and this could be my sunscreen option for reapplication. But if you have oily skin, this is still a really beautiful sunscreen that's just going to give you a little bit more of a radiance, hydrated glow. This is still a really nice water resistant option. I did not realize this was water resistant until very recently, but worth noting. So also if you have more dehydrated or even dry skin, just note this does have alcohol, but it's going to be a really nice option for you as well. And then the sister to the Athlizm, this is from SunCut. This is the UV Perfect Gel. Pretty much a very similar texture and experience to the Athlizm. High in alcohol, so it sets down super quickly. It's a really nice lightweight gel texture, and you really don't feel this on the skin. You don't see this on the skin. You can't tell you're wearing it, but it applies beautifully on the skin and reapplies beautifully throughout the entire day as well. Again, so this summer, if I'm not using the Athlizm, rest assured I'm probably using this one. The next two are more primer texture. The first one I have is the Kroger Invisible Gel Sunscreen. This one, again, it's more of a primer, so it's going to diffuse some pores, kind of give you a natural matte finish and prep your skin beautifully for makeup. But also note, if you don't wear makeup, it's just going to give your skin a really nice kind of diffused look. This one's a little bit more on the moisturizing end of things. This does have mineral oil up in there, actually kind of higher up on the list as well. So this is going to be a really good option, I think, if you have more dry skin or if you have oily skin, just skip moisturizer. But a really beautiful finish. It's also really affordable, and it's also really accessible if you're in the US. You can go to any Kroger-based supermarket in your area and grab this, or order it online like I did. It's only $12 and you get like 13 fluid ounces, so you're definitely getting a lot of bang for your buck. But then another option is from Sunbum. This is their Mineral Tinted Face Lotion SPF 30, also water resistant. And this one to me is very similar to the Kroger, except that it's a mineral option. And so with this one, it's just going to give you, again, the same benefits of a primer, but also I find that this one is one of my favorite options because I don't find that it gives me a white cast, or if it does, it's very, very, very minimal. It preps the skin beautifully for makeup, sits nicely on the skin, it helps control my oil throughout the entire day, but what matters most to me is that it's heavy duty, water resistant. And that matters especially because I have oily skin and I want this to stay on my face in the high summer heat while I'm sweating and everything. So this has been a favorite and was a really good option for me when I was based in Chicago last summer. It just worked beautifully. And the last two are some of my favorite Euro sunscreens I reviewed recently. First and foremost, I have the La Roche-Posay Anthelios Shaka Fluid Sunscreen. That one is just super lightweight, super, super liquidy. It just melts into the skin. You can honestly barely tell you're wearing it at all, but it has super high photoprotective values, UVA-PF of 46, SPF 50+. It's also water, sweat, and sand resistant, which is a really original claim. You never hear that really, but it's a really great option. Specifically, I think if you have more oily skin type, it just melts in. You don't tell it's there. and it doesn't make you oily throughout the entire day. If anything, it's kind of oil controlling. You kind of keep a very natural finish throughout the entire day, and it's a really good option as well if you are reapplying on top of makeup. It's not my favorite, definitely leaning towards the Biore still, but I do know it's a cult classic and it's like a very well loved sunscreen, so I have to put it on this list. And the last is from Uriage. It's the BARIÉSUN, and that one to me is a similar texture to the La Roche-Posay. It's just a little bit more moisturizing. It's a little bit more nourishing to the skin, but it's still a really good option for oily skin types as well. I remember in the video for that one, I equated it to like a drinkable yogurt texture, and that is still really liquidy, but there's a little bit of body to it, but it just melts into the skin, it works in beautifully, preps the skin nicely for makeup, and it does give you a little bit more of a natural semi-radiant finish. So if you don't want something that's too matte, it's a really good option to consider. And with that, those are my favorite heavy duty, high octane, water resistant, sweat resistant, high SPF value sunscreens. These are the ones I definitely reach for on more heavy duty, high UV index days where I really need that protection. These aren't necessarily my everyday sunscreens. I think there's a time and place for these. Let me know if I didn't mention one of your favorites, what some of your favorite heavy duty sunscreen options are. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, notification bell so that you know when I post more skincare, sunscreen, and fenty related content on my channel. And thanks for watching, guys. Bye.